And of course, the phone just started ringing, but I'm going to ignore that. But guys, I would like to introduce to you a very close and personal friend of mine who I've known for about 20 plus years now. I've been at El Cajon Valley High School. This is my 23rd year. And I'm pretty sure this gentleman came to El Cajon Valley High School in 2000, well, 2000, I want to say, right? 2001?
No, I graduated in 2002, so I came about 1998.
So that was my first year then. So I've known you every year that I've been here. So when I was a first-year teacher, this guy was one of my advocate students. I took care of him like he was my own son. I love this guy. He's been through some crazy times in his life and has come out stronger and smarter and faster and wiser. And I'm so proud of him and everything that he's done. I talk about him all the time. He probably doesn't know it, but I do. And I am so happy that he could be here with you guys today and talk about what he does. So moving way back, when I was first teaching here, I wasn't teaching multimedia. So I wasn't this guy's multimedia teacher. He came up on this on his own, and I'll let him tell the story about what he does and how he got there. Yeah, so you guys just sit back and listen to the stories from this gentleman named Calvin Pearce, and you can see his name up in the participants list up there. And you guys just listen for the first 15, 20 minutes of him talking, and then everybody should have one question that they're going to ask today to the guest speaker. And you guys can jot down top 3 important facts from today to add to your digital portfolios, okay? Any questions before we get started?
No.
Okay, that sounds good. And again, we should have about 40 people in this meeting, and right now we have, looks like 3, right? 3 students, and hopefully we will be able to grow that list as we go through the hour. We do have until 11 o'clock. I don't know, Calvin, how long you have, but we're gonna just get started here. So Calvin, tell us about your job. What do you do for a living, and how do you make money?
NBC San Diego, the local station. Actually, one of the owners is.
I think something
for glad if I could get.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Now you just came back. You were frozen for a second.
All right.
Okay.
Sometimes
he was perfect up until we started the meeting.
We having trouble?
We're having a little bit of trouble. There you go. Now you're better.
Better now?
Yeah, we need OBS, dude.
Hold on.
Bring back OBS. Hashtag bring.
I don't think it's. Yes, give me a second.
It's working now.
Okay, how is that now? Are we better?
I can hear you perfect.
Are we still freezing?
Your picture is freezing, but your audio is okay.
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
No problem. These are the technical snafus that we gotta get through.
All right, now are we freezing?
A
Check it out.
little bit less.
Are we freezing now?
It's less.
A little bit less?
A little bit less.
All right, hold on.
Hang tight there, kiddos.
All right. Is it still doing it? How about now?
Guys, how does it look on your guys' end?
Not freezing.
Not freezing. Perfect.
Not freezing. Okay, okay. So I work full-time at NBC 7. It's a local news station. One of our partners is Telemundo. So we partner up with them, and we're sent out on different story assignments. And if we're able to get Spanish sound, they love it. It's like extra credit. So I work on the overnight team. I start at 3 a.m. every morning, get off at 12 p.m. So I roughly get I want to say assignment at 3 a.m. every morning. So I check my work phone and check the assignment. And today's assignment, if anybody's familiar with some of the stories that's going on in the news, that San Diego did not move to the purple tier, red tier.
Yeah, that means bring it back to school, guys. Bring it back to school.
Bring it back to school. So they're not going to be shutting down a lot of the gyms and stuff that they was trying to threaten to shut back down. So I had to go front that from the county admin's office downtown off of Harbor Drive, close to the airport. And then that story wrapped up for me. It was a special report on NBC or worldwide. I want to say started about 6:30 with the deceased former judge, correct?
Okay.
What am I correct, Mr. Ford?
You know what? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Who is it?
But what was that lady that?
Ruth Ginsburg.
Lady?
Yeah, Ruth Ginsburg.
So
she was Supreme Court judge. She just died.
They broke in on that at 6:30. So I normally have 5 live hits to the public every morning. Today it was like 4. And then after that, I was released. I was supposed to be in some corporate meetings, like these Zoom meetings from out of New York. Somehow it didn't pan out. So I got to re-register for another class. It's almost like you're still in school, but you work. And with different things that's going on today, it changes some of the company policies, and they got to inform you via video classes or different modules that they'll send you, like 15-minute class that they'll send you, and then 15 questions at the end. And you can't move forward until you pass it with 80%. Otherwise, you'll keep taking it over and over and over again.
Wow. Okay.
But other than that, I'm normally assigned, like I was telling Mr. Ford earlier on, we're normally used to work with almost any and everybody, depending on who the bosses wanted you to work with that day. But since the pandemic, they want to narrow down the contact tracing and different people that you come in contact with. So I'm only working with one reporter, and that's Nicole. We used to ride in the same vehicles. Now she's in her own personal car. She's right across the street. We have a live segment at 11. So she'll probably be checking in with me probably a little after 10:45 to get ready for that live shot.
Sounds good.
But this is pretty much what we do every day. A lot of different news stories that you see on TV that's going on right now. I've been a part of a lot of them. After that George Floyd thing went down, and then some of the stuff that spilled all on over to San Diego. And if you guys were familiar with the story with the police officer in the La Mesa, I was actually off that weekend when people was marching on the freeways, and then it spilled over towards the La Mesa Police Department. I was just chilling with my kids, and I was on call that day and didn't even have my work phone on me. But then I started seeing on social media people all on the freeway. Something was like, get my work phone. Shortly after, my work phone is ringing off, and I got dispatched out there, and it was crazy. And got shot with, I'm just filming it. I'm actually not a part of the protest, and we got like tear gas like numerous amount of times.
Wow.
I just remember one time getting tear gas so hard, I had to go back to my work vehicle and like recoup for like 30, 45 minutes just to like come back to myself. And I'm like holding the camera, and I remember like general public people like coming up to me like, you need help, like helping me pour water in my eyes, and it's just stinging and it's burning in my face and in my chest. And got to see those banks burning down. It was chaotic night.
Yeah. Where were you parked? Do you remember?
Close. I was actually close to the banks, and before that happened, they kept tear gassing people so hard, they was pushing them towards where I was parked at. And since they was pushing them there, we had one of our top supervisors, managers on site. He didn't feel comfortable because we have a lot of equipment that costs a lot of money. So he was like, maybe we need to move. So we actually went like deeper into like where the homes are, and away from, it actually ended up being like on the backside of that Vons, because even after people was looting in the Vons, I just saw people like running past. I was in a church. I ended up in a corner of a church parking lot. Wow. And I had to do a live segment at 11 p.m. And then when they released me after that live segment, I remember driving past the banks, seeing the banks burning down.
So I know you do other stuff though besides NBC too. Let's kind of go back a little bit to earlier conversation. You were saying you got to do a lot of different things, right?
Yeah. So
can you talk about that?
So what I was saying a little earlier, I think before we started the recording, you have to have multiple means of income. Because I remember jumping in this business, like this is really not a business that if you think you're going to be rich. It's almost like a teacher. It's not a business that you're going to jump in and you be like, oh, this business is going to make me rich and I'm going to buy a house in La Jolla. No, you're not. Not in this business. You're going to be, you better inherit some home or something from a family member. But, so they told me that in college. I thought I was going to be in radio, like a sports broadcaster. And this is actually how, let's dive back in. This is how I actually got in the business. I was going to junior college here at Grossmont College, and I was a football player. And I remember schools contacting me and recruiting me. And I was actually taking mass media courses at Grossmont. And then I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. So when schools started reaching out to me, I was like, I knew I wanted them to have a great media program. And the school I ended up landing at had a phenomenal media broadcasting program. One of the books out in college that talks about broadcasting, one of the professors at my university wrote it at Baker University. So, and I'm pretty well still connected with that university. I was actually just on with like 30 young men just the other day for a Zoom conference. And then the alumni committee reached back out to me, and it was a young man that they wanted me to be a mentor for. So trying to help out and give back. But here in San Diego, I ended up launching my own business aside from NBC to bring in another income to my home. As you can see, I think it's in the right-hand corner, TSC Sports. I help out high school athletes that's trying to get to the next level. Parents hire me to come shoot the video of their football, basketball games, soccer, you name it. I used to film volleyball at San Diego State. So I cut up the highlights, a lot of stuff you see on ESPN. I do the interviews with the coaches pre and post game. I'm currently got under contract right now with the soccer team, professional soccer team, the San Diego Loyal with Landon Donovan and those guys. I control the live stream for the pre and post game show. The young phenom basketball player that just left us a couple of days ago, Mikey Williams, I was doing a lot of his recordings. A lot of the stuff that you see on my social media page, ESPN and other networks bought the footage. And if you ever seen they rarely fly a guy from Chicago or from their headquarters. They normally have like what I would be called as a freelance videographer. They would, it's rare that they would just call you. You got to have that connection. I think one of the first games of the season, LeBron James' son was in town and they played a big game. And right before that game, Mikey Williams played. And they had like the media holding tank. And I remember I had my gear in there, charging my batteries. And it's all about, in this business, networking, internships. That is major. That is key. I wouldn't have landed half of the jobs I landed without doing internships or doing free work. basically for somebody to see what I was able to do. And then it was like, wow, this guy, this kid, he's worthy of a job working for us. Even out in Kansas, I interned at radio stations, the Rock Chalk Jayhawks, one of the top basketball programs in the nation. I was doing courtside cameras for them the last time they went to the national championship with the Morris twins. One of them play for the Lakers right now. Yeah. I was there way back during their career doing courtside camera, covering games. And basically, and now I was telling Mr. Ford, my wife may be going to medical school. Some of the connections I made there and good relationships and mentors that I created there. Now, if I have to move to Philly, I've seen some of my mentors done a lot of work in Philly where they could direct me towards or Michigan. They could connect me to whoever I need to connect to, like for the University of Michigan, to do video work with them. So it's all about those connections you make. Here in San Diego, I came back and I did all that work in Kansas. And then it was like, I didn't have no connections in San Diego, even though I was born and raised here. Before I left, I was driving 18-wheelers. So all I had was connections, like getting truck driving jobs. So now I was like, dang, I got to make connections in the media realm all over again. I ended up working at KUSI for darn near like minimum wage, working on the PPR, which is one of the popular high school prep shows. And right when I got on staff, I ended up winning an award for the Best New Hire Award of the Year. And right around that time, as soon as I got that award, a guy lost his job on the news side, and Paul Rudy. I happened to walk in there. I can't even remember for what I was walking in for. And he was like, hey, Nate just lost his job. Do you want a job right now or not? And I said, yes, sir. He walked me down to the head news director's office. I hadn't even filled out an application, but it was like an interview on the spot. It was like, I did the interview on the spot, and then went and filled out the application and everything went backwards. And I got the job there. KUSI is a phenomenal training ground. What they would tell us, what some of the old heads would tell us, go over there and learn as much as you can and as quick as you can. And I think I did like 16 months over there, and a job opened up at NBC, and I've been over here for, I want to say, over 7 years now. And in this business, people really watch your demeanor and your attitude when you're out on stories and different things like that. Because when I ended up filling out the application for NBC, it was a lady that retired. She had worked here for over 40 years doing, she was a photojournalist. And when I applied, when they see your name is coming from another station, they generally ask the other photographers or videographers, hey, how is Calvin? And she ended up speaking on my behalf and was like, give him a shot. He's great, blah, blah, blah. And she told him all these great things about me. And when I went into the interview, it was like, I think a panel or 2 or 3 people in there when I was interviewing. It didn't even feel like an interview. It felt like she told them so many great things about me. Now they wanted to get more familiar and know some of those things themselves. And then the process here was weird. It wasn't like a normal job, maybe at Target, where you get a phone call in 2 or 3 days saying, hey, you got the job. Here's your orientation date. It was like a month later almost. They sent me a letter saying you've been awarded to work for our company.
Yeah.
you sitting there waiting for a month. Like, did something come up in my background? Did something come up in this or that? You like, but that wasn't even the case. So you're working for these bigger companies, and they have an HR department here, but mostly everything is done here, but then has to clear through corporate in New York. It just takes a little longer. So you have to be a little more patient.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. Dude. You got some amazing background, and I'm sure the stories that you could tell about some of the things that you've been able to film. I mean, I remember you won an Emmy Award, or maybe several by now. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, I won 3. If you guys are familiar, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago now, the Las Vegas, what do they call it? Massacre, the shooting that happened in Las Vegas out at that, it was
like a country western concert, right?
Yeah, it was like, yep, country western concert. When that happened, I got the assignment and they flew me out to Vegas right away. It was 2 or 3 crews from San Diego. They flew out, and then 1 crew drove out to Las Vegas. So I spent like 3 days out there working, I want to say 18-hour days, little to no rest. I remember filming all day, all night. By the time I go to my hotel, I was still trying to edit on the side of the bed and like falling asleep while editing. I received, I want to say two, I believe one Emmy from Las Vegas. And then last year, I want to say it was that big shooting in Thousand Oaks. That was at a club too. As soon as that happened,
the club, not the one at the school, but the one at the club.
Yeah, the one at the club.
Yeah.
They ended up calling me, which I go in at 3:00 in the morning. They called me before that, right after the shooting happened, and was like, "Get to work, get in the vehicle, drive out there right now." And I ended up hitting traffic, got there, and was able to do a couple of live segments. And then they put me in the hotel. Right when we were doing live segments outside of the bar, wildfires broke out, like at the same time. I remember doing a live shot, and I see this hill, and fires just right here on the hill. I'm calling back to San Diego. It's like, it's fires all around us.
Yeah.
And we stayed the night in the hotel. I just remember it was like a red glow all around the hotel. And it's like, it was like crazy. And then it took me like, I want to say more than 5 hours just to get back from Thousand Oaks because so many highways and streets were cut off. It was crazy.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, feel free to put your questions in the chat, and I'll bring them up to Mr. Pearce as we go through this, okay? So before we started the recording, you and I were talking about this vehicle that you're sitting in right now.
This is...
talk to me more about that.
This is my news vehicle. I pretty much... have everything in here. I don't have.
I was joking with you. It looked like you were in a police car or something because of the.
We got the cage. We got the cages right here, and then all the equipment. The camera goes in the back. Tripod. I have. We have these new backpacks. If you ever seen these commercials, they like Sling TV. We use these backpacks that's called DeGero. So it's able to provide me internet service here in the field. So what I like about it, I could toggle between whatever location. I believe I'm in North Park right now. When you work in the news, you get lost of track and where you're at. I believe I'm in North Park. So I could go on the backpack. And it could tell me what cell phone provider has the strongest signal right here in North Park. And I could select AT&T or T-Mobile, and then create a hotspot off of whichever one is the strongest.
Okay.
And I think when you guys said I was freezing, I actually went in and switched some stuff up because I could have been on a weaker.
You had to move away from AT&T and get on T-Mobile because we all know that T-Mobile is the bomb.
And that's what I had to do. And when I did that, I think it stopped doing the whole choppiness and blurring. And basically that signal, I could call into dispatch when I fire up the camera, and I could hit go live on there, and then it'll send the signal back to the station. Actually, since COVID, we used to actually do like press conferences, and it used to be like back in the days you see like Michael Jordan press conference or something, like 10, 20 cameras all in a row. With COVID, we can't do the whole close contact. So now one of our bosses actually from NBC spearheaded, he's like the head coordinator for the pool camera situation. We used to only do pool for like big court cases, murders and different things like that. And the judge only want one camera or this or that, because you got to respect the jurors. You can't show them. So you don't want a whole lot of cameras in there. You want to have one camera and one controlled camera. So now, like when it's little rinky-dink press conferences about this or that, he controls it. It kind of rotates. You have NBC there one day, Channel 10 there another day. And what they're able to do on these backpacks, they was able to call the company because all the other stations own the same backpacks. We able to call the company and tell them share network. So now, but then our desk always got to remember to turn that off. If we're on a story that's not, we could be on an exclusive story. You don't want to have shared network on, because then the other competitors are able to see what you're doing. So they got to be smart and turn that on and off. So when we are at those press conferences where we have to share the footage, they turn that setting on the backpack, and you're able to able to blast my signal from my camera out to all the local stations.
Gotcha. Very cool.
And if it's stories local that's that Lester Houghton, his team wants, they're able to send that out to the network as well.
Okay. That's pretty complex, man.
Yeah.
Brian Green wants to ask you, what made you want to have this job?
Man, I don't even know if I wanted to be in news. I really
You want to be a radio guy, right?
No, I really desire to be in sports because, like with the TSC Sports, I film primarily football and basketball, but I don't discriminate. I do all sports and I do men and women. But
you do field hockey? A lot of field hockey?
I haven't, but if it's paying and my availability is open, I'm there.
And you know I was the tennis coach, Calvin. So I know you got to be doing a lot of tennis stories, right?
A lot of tennis. Learn to track those balls real well.
Yeah. So really, you didn't want to be the camera guy. You wanted to be the radio guy, but you kind of fell into this whole camera thing, right?
Yeah. My university had a TV station where we had to produce segments, newscasts, very similar to mock like what I do here at NBC.
Yeah.
And when you do that type of training, I was there at Baker University for 3 years. And my mentor there, Professor Joe, he actually was a news director in Cleveland and won several Emmys and phenomenal stories. He showed us those stories, and we try to mimic those at the college level. And when I was able to do that and then get the training from KUSI, the rest was history. It was like Chargers left. I really don't like baseball. I did film it in college.
Yeah.
So I was kind of stuck living here in San Diego. Well, now I'm doing some stuff with the Loyal. So I was kind of stuck with not doing too much sports stuff.
Yeah.
Then I got contracts with high schools. Lincoln High School is one of my primary clients. I do all their filming of every single one of their games and upload it to Huddle. And then I cut highlights for kids that parents want me to cut up. And I sent out kids highlight tapes to universities that the parents or the coach didn't ask me to, based off of some connections that I made from college or just in the football realm. I used to play college football. Yeah. And I tried out for the NFL. I didn't make it. Y'all see I'm working for news. But
we thought you retired from the NFL.
Yeah, I know, right? So some of the connections that I built over time, and one of my coworkers at NBC, her cousin is a lead scout for the Miami Dolphins. I sent over several films, and one of the kids from Lincoln, he landed a full ride scholarship at the University of Miami. I don't get off into get the glory for that. If God knows and whoever helped behind closed doors, the coaches and the trainers, normally they want the glory. But sure. Hey, it is. I'm not in that realm and trying to compete with them. I'm just here to do a service, and I know what I did, and I'm just blessed that kids like that was able to go. And then like my old strength and conditioning coach and coaches that coached me, that wasn't the head coach. Now they're at different universities all over the world. And guys that I played on the same team with me are top coaches all over. So I'm able to dial their numbers and send them directly film. And I've seen emails actually come back directly from that university saying on Calvin Pearce's behalf. And just like anything else, like with Mr. Ford or anyone recommending you for a job, I got to be careful, because if I don't know an individual's background cleanly and something comes up in red flag, then I'm kind of like left out there. And then this university or whomever may not want to take my judgment on a recommendation on the kid the next time.
Hey, we want to extend, if you're not moving out of state, if you're not moving out of the area, we want to get like a Friday night live stream thing going for our football teams or for our basketball teams. Maybe you could come and help me one day, just work with the kids and kind of give us some pointers or something like that. That'd be awesome.
Yes, sir.
So let me look at the next question here. Ali was kind of saying the same thing. What was the reason you picked the job and what made you continue? So I'm just going to answer that for you. Sounds like you were super into sports, and that's kind of what keeps you going on this thing is your love of sports.
Yeah, and I mean, that kept me in news. Like I briefly mentioned, I had the background in news because I worked on the university's TV station for 3 years, and then I did the 16 months at KUSI. So I'm kind of like still in it because I've been fully trained in it.
Yeah.
And it
paying
really wasn't
bills,
nothing
right?
else.
I mean, is it paying your bills?
It's paying the bills. I'm a homeowner. It was able to help me.
You could buy a house for crying out loud. That's a great thing, man. That's why I do these guest speaking gigs, because I want kids to know that if they take this class and they work hard and they spend time on this, that you can go out and get a job in this field and make some money and do that kinds of stuff.
And athletics help our academics. The more scholarships you could get, the less debt you could come out of in college.
Yeah.
Like myself, I came out of college a lot less in debt than my wife, right, because she didn't play any athletics.
Yeah.
And, so that was a blessing. So.
Okay, so the big question that everybody wants to know is how much money do you make? I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask for, like Donald Trump, where's your tax returns?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that to you. But I mean, you're kind of already saying, you were able to buy a house. Do you own a car? I imagine, right?
Yeah, I just got a brand new Charger Scat Pack. It's the baby right under the Hellcat, fast car. Now that I got the take home car, I just garage it and just pull it out every now and again. It would have been the car to go pick up the kids 1 block away from the house, but these days they're just staying at home. So I just got to make sure they don't throw the football on it when we're playing pitch during recess.
What color did you get? Just out of
I got the white one with the black racing stripes, and I just got the door handles wrapped, and I just trying to do little stuff here and there. I don't want to do it all at one time. Put the rock guards on, and I need to change the tires to bigger tires because that car is so powerful. It slides all over the place. So I got the 215s. I need to switch over to some 315s or 275s all the way around. Because
I couldn't be more proud of you, dude. Like, somebody that's come from Elkhorn Valley High School and has followed their dream and doing the things that they love. Just the fact that I was your teacher for a couple of years just makes me like feel successful in some way. You know what I mean? Like I've definitely affected one kid in my life, Calvin Pearce. And hopefully there's more. Hopefully there's more. But hey, another question, Yusuf Aboud. What made you want to be an NBC? I think Yusuf came in late to the party here. You got to go?
No. Give me a second.
Okay, no worries. This guy's actually working for NBC right now, you guys. So he's like covering some covert thing that's happening out here in the community. I think he's got to check in with his boss. But Yusuf, you joined a little bit late, but he was talking about when he joined NBC, it was just kind of by accident, right? He was trying to work in radio, and then he moved out here and was trying to get into like sports casting and stuff like that. And somebody said that NBC had an opening, so he applied for it and got it, So now that's what he does. He's a cameraman for NBC News, who, by the way, NBC News is going to be here at ECV on Friday, covering a story about Tony Martin, our manager of school facilities, and what a fabulous job he's doing in getting our school ready for students to return. So NBC News will be here on Friday doing a story about that. I don't know if Calvin will be the cameraman or if it'll be a different crew, but you guys tune in on NBC 39 News this Friday, and you can see Elkhorn Valley High School. Do you guys have any other questions? I didn't get a question from Ernesto or Asael. If you guys can put questions in the chat real quick.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Yusuf.
So, like, after we finish with the guest speaker, we have to write something in Delta Math, right?
Yeah, the idea was that you just take, the top 3 things that you kind of learned, from each of these guest speakers, and then you put the speaker's name and then your top 3 things that you learned on your digital portfolio under the World to Work page.
Wait, so just like 3 things that we learned from Calvin, right?
Yes. And then the other day we had Jay Parkin. He was our other guest speaker. If you missed that one, it's on Google Classroom. I posted the video, and I'll be doing the same thing today.
Okay.
Posting the video from all the guest speakers on there.
Ernesto says that his question was already answered. So.
Yeah. Can you think of a different question, Ernesto? Matter of fact, Ernesto, I'm going to give you a question to ask him. Ask him what type of camera that he uses, because we use the Canon C100s here, and I want to see if he uses those cameras or a similar question. Okay.
Oh, and I have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
When are we going to do the PSA?
So I assigned the PSA on Monday. You should be able to go in there and look at that. I'm going to go over how to do some editing on WeVideo on the Friday Zoom. I was making a video to post onto Google Classroom, which may make it on there before Friday, but then I'll also do a little thing on Friday too, okay?
Can you do like a video saying like how to do the PSA?
Yeah, I think I already did that, right? It's in Google Classroom?
No, it's not.
Yeah, I look under on the syllabus. There's some links on there.
Or what color zone are we in from the pandemic? We're not in the purple zone. But what color zone were we in?
We're in red zone.
And what's the difference between it and the purple zone?
I think that's just the amount of closures that they require. So if you're in the red zone, restaurants and other businesses can stay open. And if you get into the purple zone, restaurants and other businesses, including schools, have to be 100% distance learning. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
So I'm sorry right there. I filmed, it's what's called a look live. So what you see live on TV, we do these things, we film it again, like it's live, but it's not. And they make us send it over. I have to edit it, and then I send it over to the 4 p.m. producer. So I work between the 3 and 12. So mine will be going live at 11, but the 4 p.m. producer, when they request whichever story we're on at 11, if they request it, we have to give it to them. So
Gotcha.
Right there, I just filmed what they call a look live. It'll be essentially a same thing that's about to be live on TV at 11, and it'll just be, so if you're ever looking at TV and you see reporters and you don't see the live bug in the corner, that's considered a look live. We just filmed that. It's the same thing that's running at 11, but it won't have the live bug trying to trick people that it's live. It's technically a look live. They're not going to put that in the corner to say look live, but that's the term that we call it in this business.
Okay, so you just hopped out and filmed something.
Yeah. So my big camera out there is a Panasonic. I think it's a 280, and the lens probably costs more than the body. I want to say that body costs. I want to say under 5,000. The lens could be around 20,000. That's a pretty expensive lens on these. This one don't have the doubler. I forget, something happened to my doubler, and just the money right now for them to put it in the shop or buy me a new one, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So I got an older one. So like I was out at the wildfires, I want to say, what was that, 2 weeks ago already now?
Yeah.
I didn't have the doubler where I could be far away and go zoom in real far. And then my personal camera that I was on in here. Dang, can we see?
Yeah.
It's set up. I got a Sony I got the Sony 7 III. So I'm a Sony guy. I used to be with Canon. I started on a T3i. So before I graduated from college, I knew I wanted to do like run and gun and doing my own video stuff. It's money to be made. So if you connect with real estate agents, all kind of, which that's kind of changing. So now they hiring people that buy the equipment for the 3D, and so if you invest in that equipment and you know a mom or a dad that is a realtor or a relative, if you could pitch yourself and practice at your own home and show them that your 3D work on that machine is great, you could get a contract with Kellen Winslow or,
right.
or
not Kellen Winslow the second, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, not that guy. That guy had words for me one time. I was covering his court case and he was out on bond, and he told me that he told me that they got me in on it too. Like, I guess his case is a conspiracy, and he's like, so they got you in on it too, I guess, because I'm a brother and he's a brother. But
wow.
You know what? Generally people say these type of comments. I have no comment. Like a week ago, I don't know if you saw on my Facebook, a guy was calling me all out of my name, calling me
down at the beach.
Yeah, at the beach, right there by the roller coaster, calling me all kind of N-words and this and that, and like things that.
Your response was so awesome, though, dude. I just loved your response. Hey, we've got limited time here.
Yep.
What was I just going to ask you? Shoot. Dang it. Something just popped up and I'm blanking out on it now. Oh, have you ever done anything with a 360 camera?
No.
You know those like virtual tours that you can like log on to? They want to do.
I never worked with those.
Okay. Yeah. So somebody's asking me to do one of the virtual tours here at El Cajon Valley, and I don't know anything about those 360 cameras. I've been watching YouTube videos on them, and I'm just I put something out on Facebook the other day. Does anybody have one that they would be willing to bring here and let me try out just to see? Because I think they're pretty expensive. They're like $500 or $600, which for a school, that's expensive, right? But if I don't, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
They want you to show the whole campus or highlight certain areas? Certain areas,
yeah. Certain areas. And then there would be like hot buttons on there, you know, where you could click and go inside the library, right? Like you're showing the outside of the library, or maybe if you stood like in the quad and you'd have a 360 camera, and then you could click on the library or the sports complex or and then it takes you inside those. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do. But yeah, do you hear of anybody with a 360 camera? Turn them on to me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any last minute questions before we wrap?
Not for
I
me.
primary edit on a MacBook Final Cut at work. We use a silly program called Edius, and I'm familiar with Premiere. I have Premiere at home. You get the whole Adobe suite, Final Cut, Lightroom, After Effects. I don't like the whole deal how they make it a subscription. I like the Final Cut, pay one fee, and you own it outright.
Right.
When I was in college, we trained on Final Cut, so that's where I feel the most comfortable. But back then, when I was in college, a long time ago now, we had Final Cut 7. It was very similar to Premiere. So if you learn Final Cut 7, all of the shortcuts and all the keys are almost the same.
Interesting.
On every software. Like even like Edius, it's like if you use one, it's kind of like riding a bike. If you rode a bike on one bike, you could ride it all. The interface may be a little different on each one, but for the most part, they're all the same.
Yeah, I mean, right now with the kids not even having access to school, they're using WeVideo to edit, which is a web-based editing.
Right.
Yeah. So hopefully
I've seen people do packages on their cell phone, and they're like phenomenal pieces.
Wow.
It just depends on where you could take your mind as far as your art, your craft, and choosing that shot selection. We always in this business, we always when editing, always think like wide, medium, tight. wide, medium, tight. Wide, medium, tight. You really don't want to make a transition if you're not using all these flips and like I have a ton of transitions that I paid for from third-party plugins, but I don't like to lean on those, like even in my sports videos on every single one. It's like if I would like the phenomenal work of me following the football out of the sky and dropping in the receiver's hands. That's more artsy because a lot of guys can't track the ball like that. So with me just putting a transition and a flip on there, it kind of takes away from the great camera work. But me, I edit, but these days I really don't like to edit. Sometimes I outsource it. So you get your editing game stepped up. Send me your work on Instagram, and I may hire you. I get I'll be scouting for editors on Instagram, good editors, and I have other buddies in LA that have bigger budgets than me. And one guy, he said he already probably dropped $1,000 or $2,000 for like 1 minute mixtapes and stuff like that. Sports
Well,
guys. So
I tell all these,
it's money to be made.
Hey, I tell all these guys they got to do free work before they can get paid, you know? So, yeah, if you are looking for people, make sure you're scouting out the ECV multimedia program.
Yes, sir.
So anyway, hey guys, we're gonna stop the recording right now, and I'm going to release Mr. Pearce. I know he's at work right now. I want to thank you so much for coming on and being a guest speaker for us, man. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, I enjoyed it. All right, you guys, hey, go Braves.
That's it. Go Braves, man. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right, take it easy.